And the check. What's poppin'? This is the Vice City Mafia Podcast. I'm your boy Cross-Eyed in the building, and we got Major Minor stepping up.
What's up, baby? VCM. You know how it is.
VCM for life.
For life. Tough love, hard truths, and tough love.
Tough truth to swallow.
No Diddy.
No Diddy.
You know what I mean? I think that a lot of people like living uncomfortable lives and just forever acting as if the hard truths don't exist. You know
so
what I mean?
You're saying living a struggle by acting like you're content.
Yeah, or just like being afraid to have the tough conversation. So you're just always at this low level of uncomfortability. When the
like fat people. Like when they like, I'm just big.
Yo, actually, bro.
That's a tough one to swallow.
Okay, so like if I have to like fast or something, sometimes I need some inspiration. So I'll watch my 600-pound life. And because there's nothing that will make you want to eat less than watching somebody struggle on 600-pound life, bro. And it's crazy because it really is just like we all have these tendencies, right? And just seeing somebody at the extreme gives you insight to your own, right? So sometimes, right, you could be making excuses for why you're not doing something, right?
Yeah.
And then when you hear somebody on the extreme end, they're like, oh my God, like I have to shower, but it's so tough to shower. And you're like, yeah, of course it's tough to shower because you're 600 pounds.
You're a fat fuck.
You're 755 pounds, sir.
Yeah.
Of course it's gonna be tough to shower, but then you take it inside, right? And you're like, well, what excuses do I make that really aren't that tough, that I'm just making an excuse for because it's tough for me to do, right? It's difficult for me to do in the time, right? So it could be something that's like, oh man, I don't want to do the dishes because it's gonna take 30 minutes or something like that, right? And you come up with all these excuses like, oh, I have other things to do on my checklist or whatever the case may be, right? And you realize that when you say it out loud, you sound dumb. But when you say it in your head,
you can talk yourself into some shit. You know what I'm saying?
And it's crazy to see the couples that are fat together, right? Because
you know one of them is the reason.
They enable each other.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it was crazy because there's one dude, right? His wife, she was like, oh yeah, like they just show her face like, oh yeah, I like him because like I could see beneath all of that he's a nice guy. But then they zoom out and she's 585 pounds herself. You know what I mean? So the issue was that he was like 700 pounds. Then he went and he started sticking to the diet plan. And then he got gastric. And the second he started weighing less than her, she was no longer a fan. She started the doctor said, yo, you guys both have to get on it. And she's like, okay. And when it came time for her to stay disciplined as well, all of a sudden, she just started saying, we can cook whatever we want. We can eat whatever we want, actually. You know what I mean? Like, who is this doctor? You know? Somebody trying to save your life?
Yeah, dude, that's
somebody trying to not have you die?
Yo, isn't that crazy that, you know, and in the club business, right, you know, so I constantly have to tell girls they're overweight. And it's a hard thing to do. But, dude, like the other day, just yesterday, I tell this girl, I'm like, yo, you're overweight. You need to start dieting or I'm going to have to, like, you know, terminate your contract. And she goes, no, but you have fatter girls here. And it's like, all right, they're fat too. But does that make it okay for you to get fat? Like, you know what I'm saying?
They might have a pretty face.
Yeah, dude. You know what? Get what I mean?
It's the truth, though, bro. Like, for me, right? I knew that standing at the very tall 5'5" I am, bro, I couldn't be overweight, too. You know what I mean? Like, you got to choose one.
Yeah,
right?
You can't be fat and short.
And want to get females.
As well, so.
and want to get females. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You can't, bro. You got to pick your poison, right? And so it's like, I didn't have a decision in being short, but I had a decision in my weight, right? So it's just like you can't be like, a great quote I love is, a committed fool will beat a distracted genius. You know what I mean?
A committed fool will beat a distracted genius.
Yeah, so it's just like somebody that may not be like overly intelligent that just stays to the task every day will win.
Oh yeah.
More than somebody that's like, I have all these ideas, I'm so smart, and can't stay on task, right? And I see the same thing in a weight loss journey, right? Because there's so many people that I train that have the knowledge about what to do. But there's only a few that are willing, that are really willing to follow through. You know what I mean? And for me, you have to have the tough conversations with them, bro. You have, like, my favorite thing is to ask, what will happen if you don't change? You know what I mean? Like, what are the good things that will happen if you don't change, right? And you find out the attachments that people have, right? I had somebody tell me that they feel safer when they're overweight. You know what I mean? And it was because, and we got down to the root of it, it's because their mom made them finish their plate because they grew up, they're wealthy now, but they grew up broke, right? So his feeling of safety was attached to finishing the food. I was like, my man, put less on your plate then. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Like, that's the solution, right? But I didn't say it like that, obviously. We got to it because I was like, yo, what can you do to still feel safe? To like tame that feeling of feeling unsafe. He's like, well, I guess I could just put less on my plate. I'm like, yeah.
Well,
yes, you can.
I have a question. We're a little off topic, but all right. So let's say, let's say for instance you're overweight or you want to lose weight and you're fat, and the New Year's coming up. So like a lot of people want to get skinny, right? So sometimes I think to myself, like, all right, well, I could eat this taco, right? I can eat this taco from Taco Bell. I just got to go to the gym for a little longer this week. Does that mindset work?
You're
out?
right.
No?
You're right.
It's right.
You're right. But how has that worked for you in the past?
Yeah, it doesn't work good.
I'm saying, like, because that's
It didn't work for me.
But that's the thing, bro. It's always like how I like to frame it. I'll be like, yo, that is a great short-term solution, right? To make you feel good in the moment, right? And to handle the feeling of hunger you had, right? And it doesn't have to derail you forever, because that's what ends up happening, right? People eat that and then they get into this shame about doing it. And then they're like, well, fuck it. I already did that, so I'm going to have the pizza. And then fuck that, I'm going to have the 4 cheese macaroni and cheese. And then fuck that, I'm going to have the pizza, right? And all that. But what studies have shown is that somebody that is just focused on making a 5% change every day makes a big change over a year, man. You know what I mean? So it's like, that once again, a committed fool will outwork a inconsistent genius, right? So in that same way, bro, even if you are just making sure that you're making a change every day, right, towards your goal, then that's fine. And it's unrealistic to think you're never gonna slip, bro. You know what I mean? I just went to the movies with my kid yesterday, and movies are the time where I allow him to have some candy. But we went overboard. And your boy ended up eating a grip of candy too, because I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I forgot what Sour Patch tastes like. I forgot what Reese's Pieces were like. You know what I mean? And I weighed myself today 5 pounds heavier than yesterday, right? Because I'm normally so dialed in. But, I'm training for this marathon and everything. My running today for the marathon, I was like, you fat fuck you. You know what I mean? I was so disgusted with myself. But I just took it slower and still finished my run. Was it the greatest run ever? No. But did I allow that self-talk to stop me from finishing my mission at hand? No. Because I just knew that, okay, I slipped yesterday, but I was disciplined the 6 days before. So on average, I'm winning still. So why would my mindset be that I can't do that, bro? Because if you look at athletes like DK Metcalf, because my mentality was, bro, I was watching this show called Receiver about all the receivers in the NFL. Bro, a lot of them have horrible dieting habits. Like they'll eat, granted, they're fucking genetic freaks, right?
Yeah.
But they have horrible eating habits. I'm like, these niggas still go out and play NFL games. I can run on a treadmill. You know what I mean? After eating some candy. Like, suck it up. Because you're giving yourself an out to underperform. But you realize that, and this is where I like to go to slavery, right? Slaves had no choice whether they had to do the work or not. Regardless of like whether they had food in their stomach, regardless of whether their family had just been killed, they had to get the work done. So it's just like, bro, you just have to get into that mentality. Be a slave to yourself. You know what I mean? And get done what you say you're going to get done. And don't use anything as an excuse to underperform. You might not perform to the best of your ability, but you could still get the task at hand done. And let's say you get 80% done. That's better than getting 0% of it done because you never even tried in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. And it's better than cheating too, you know. Like I talked myself into cheating a lot. Like, yo, there was a point on this podcast where I was losing a lot of weight, and then now I'm back at this other club, and then, dude, the fucking food is just so accessible, dude. You know, key lime pie, pumpkin pie, cookies, macadamians, and I'm just like, one cookie. I'll eat a salad and a steak and be like, yeah, I'm feeling good. Give me a cookie. You know what I'm saying? But luckily, I have people around me that will tell me that I'm getting fat, so then I could reevaluate things I'm doing and get back on track.
Right? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And just get realigned with your stuff, right? So I think what that has had me do is not be afraid of having those conversations, man, because like nobody got better by being told what they're good at, bro. You know what I mean? It's only the negative things that you hear that bounce around in your head that make you change. And so it's like if you care about somebody, you have to have them confront reality. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where like bullying, for instance, is a big thing, bro. Like bullying for bullying's sake is kind of fucked up, right? But just like with most jokes, most bullying comes from a place of truth, bro.
Yeah, and bullying's only fucked up when it becomes malicious and they're like beating up and giving you wedgies and stuff. No, words are just words, fam. And sometimes people need to hear that shit, dude.
But also, if you're getting beat up and getting wedgies, then how do you stop that? By getting in the gym or becoming a better version of yourself or standing up for yourself, right? And just like with my son, right? There are certain things at this point in time that I will not help him with. And I'll just watch him struggle. You know what I mean? Because I know he can do it, right? And so there was a point where I was helping him a lot, right? With even things like taking off his shirt because he would get like stuck in it. His big ass head would be stuck in the hole. You know what I mean? And then I'd be like, you can do it, right? And after a couple, like, it was only like 3-4 frustrating times of him getting it off. And then one time I saw him struggling so hard that I thought he was going to strangle himself. And I was like, bro, you want me to help you? He's like, no, daddy, I can do it. And fucking figured it out. No, he just whips his shirt off, bro. No problem. Whips his pants off, too. Can't stop that. That boy
just runs around, dude. But yeah. Dude, but bullying's important for the sake of the tough conversation because it's like a lighthearted way of getting that tough conversation. Because, dude, you don't want to fucking walk up to someone like and look at them and be like, bro. It's harder to be like, bro, you're getting fat, dude. You might need a diet. That is harder than being like this. Dude, shut up, fat fuck.
Yeah.
Like that is easier because it could come off joking and subconsciously you got the message.
And behind,
at least I do it like that. Like I always tell, if I work in the industry, I gotta tell people when they're fat, or I gotta tell people when they're fucking up in general.
Yeah.
So I do it in a joking manner. I'll wait till the problem's over, and I'll be like this. If they're saying something, I'll be like this. No, listen, you're too fat to be talking right now.
Yeah.
Right. And now it's everyone's laughing. They're not too mad, but they got the message.
But see, that is the environment that I like to cultivate, right? Because I want people to respond like that to me too, right? So it's just like, if I am going too far left, I need somebody to check me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like, if you care about somebody, you're not going to let them live in delusion, bro. You're not going to let them think that it's good when it ain't. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, man, if joking is the only way to get it across, right, for somebody, or if enough people are joking about it, because the worst thing that you can do is allow somebody to live in their lie. Like, no, I'm good.
You don't love them.
Yeah, you don't.
No.
You don't. You're just waiting for their destruction because guess what? You're whispering it behind their back. I'll bet that. Or somebody is.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? It even goes down to like your parents. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your kids, your parents, whoever, your loved one, your girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm using this argument of being fat, but it could really be anything.
It could be anything.
You know, it could really be a drug problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It could be that you're slipping up in life.
Yeah, you're just slipping up in life, or you quit college, or whatever.
You're not following your passion.
Yeah, you're not following your passion.
You're content with mediocrity.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, OG3, right? He's NBA Youngboy's older brother, right? Not blood brother, but like they when NBA Youngboy was in he was in a group home, and OG3's mom allowed NBA to live with them, right? And so NBA, young boy, ended up living with OG3, right? And they were in this little bullshit group with Fredo Bang, who they ended up becoming mortal enemies. But like, they were in this group, and young boy didn't feel like they were pushing him enough, and he started questioning himself. And he started running out with his niggas doing robberies and shit like that, right? And 3 was the one that was like, bro, like, I understand, because young boy, his father was in prison for 55 years for a robbery gone wrong. His uncle got a life sentence for a robbery gone wrong. And then on his dad's side, and then his uncle on his mom's side, her brother, ended up going to prison for life for robbery. So this nigga's thinking,
Damn.
like, he's like, robbing is in my DNA. And but then he ended up having conversations with all of them. And 3 was listening. And 3 heard that NBA's dad was making music in prison. That NBA's uncle had brought him to the studio when he was 7. And he's like, yo, it's not just robbing that's in your DNA. Music's in your DNA too. So why don't you try that shit out? And that just pushed NBA even harder, right? To do the music. He was still robbing things. You know what I mean? Kind of case, you know what I mean? But it's just like, what do you want to value, right? Because it's easy to latch on to bullshit and have an excuse for why you're doing fucked up things, right?
I like how you fucking spin that. Yeah, dude.
And he was just like, yo, but because although robbing is in my genes, this music shit's in my genes too, right? It's what wolf are you feeding, right? So it's like you can feed the wolf that is like the hard action, the shit that you need to do, or you can feed the wolf that is the easy way out. You know what I mean? And most people just take that easy way out one, bro. But it's like, if you take that easy way out, you're guaranteed a life that's much harder. You know what I mean? Because you're always going to be living as a victim. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. That victim mentality shit is...
It's the death.
Yeah, you know, it's the death of a lot of people. And bullying gets rid of that victim mentality shit too, dude.
But,
well, you know what? Sometimes it could cause it.
But the only way to defeat that, right, is to face it head on. You know what I mean? There's like, if somebody is in your face every day whooping your ass, right? That's why I loved football. It was like, bro, there's no denying whether somebody smacked you or you got the better of them. It's binary. It's either yes or no. You're either stepping up to the plate or you're getting laid on your ass, bro.
Exactly.
And the only way to be the victor is to get better. That's sports in general, right? And so I think too many times, right, that's why like the participation trophies and all that, I get it, right? Nobody wants their kid to feel bad. It's a sad thing, but it's an important thing, bro, because life is like that. You know what I mean? Like if your kid sucks, then when they're an adult, they're not gonna get to where they want to go.
And that's why, you know, that's one reason why bullying is important, because in school, throughout my school years, right, I was bullied.
Yeah.
So I was prepped for the real world. So when I came out here into the real world, I understood the assignment. Niggas say shit to me and I look at them and I'm like, nigga, okay, that's fine, but like, I'll still kick your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or like, all right, that's fine, but you still can't come in the club.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like,
yeah.
What did you expect? To hurt my feelings?
No.
Oh,
yeah.
no, you hurt my feelings. Like, you know, it toughens you up, especially as a young man.
Yes.
I feel like young men need to be toughened up. And women too. You know what? Like women right now, they care too much about like how they look, or they're fucking depressed over the way they look, or they start like pill popping or whatever the fuck. I'm going like extreme. But like
it's not that extreme.
School,
pills are so pervasive.
Exactly. In school, when women are bullying each other, and women are the worst. They're worse than men.
Women are the worst.
You know, because men get physical and then they're cool after.
Women are the pettiest.
Women are the pettiest. And that's important for them because in the real world, it's fucking petty.
Yes.
There's no principal. There's no custodians that are going to help you.
And the thing is, bro, you either rise to the occasion, like, because the thing is, you have to be okay with saying, okay, and?
Exactly.
And now what? You know what I mean? I used to get, like, when people would say, like, some negative shit to me, I used to get all riled up and fight back. And then you realize the most powerful shit you can say, you're like, yeah, and? What? then.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Bro.
And
Like,
and now what?
a matter of fact, bro, given sometimes an individual could pull me out of character.
Of course,
But majority
shit can
of-
hurt. I
but
mean,
yeah.
we're not human, right?
Yeah,
But
shit
it's
can
in the
hurt.
big scheme of things. Do you let it make you lose sleep at night?
Exactly, dude. Or do you know? And I don't like to sit there and dwell on things. You know how someone tells you something and they're like, I would have said this.
Yeah.
This. I
It's
just
like,
be
nah,
like,
nigga, if you would have said that, you would have said it. If you were going to say that, you would have said it.
Yeah. So I don't like to dwell on things like that. Usually, if someone says something, I usually say immediately what first comes to my head. But I'm at this point where I don't really care. So I'll just not care. I'll be like this. Dude, like, all right, so the other day I had a situation in front of the club. There was an individual and I was speaking with him, right? And he wanted to get inside the club. And then he didn't have his ID. And I was like, Dad, you can't get in without your ID. He's like, nah, bitch ass nigga. You think you hard? Look at you, bro. Look, you can't even grow your beard, bro. 5'5", cross-eyed ass nigga, right? All that shit. And I was like, I was sitting there and I was like, dude, calm the fuck down. It's just a club.
Yeah.
And when he looked at me and goes, nah, but y'all never let me in. And then I yelled at him. It's like, no, nigga, because you're not getting in. Right? And then he took it down, and I was like, dude, it's really just a club, nigga. You don't have to roast me because you can't get in this club that I do not own.
Yes, and for something that we make everybody do. I'm not singling you out.
Yeah, dude.
It's the law.
That's where he has a victim mentality because he
Yes.
thinks I'm picking on him because of whatever the
But
fuck,
that's what I'm
you know
saying. It's just like, nigga, if you brought an ID like all the other motherfuckers in here,
Exactly.
then you would be let in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like you saw him, you're like, no, nigga, you got dreads? Fuck you. Stay outside.
Exactly.
And I don't know if he had dreads, you know what I mean?
He had dreads.
How'd I know?
He had dreads and he looked young, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And usually when someone's antagonizing you about a simple task, it's because something's going on.
Yes.
Like, we got to pat you down. Why? You don't got to touch me. You don't got the right. All right, you can't come
All
in,
right, so
then.
now you have a gun. Yeah, now I know you have a gun.
Now you have a gun or a knife. You got something on you.
And somebody that trips out over ID is a childish nigga in the first place.
Exactly.
It's probably underage.
Bro, people ask me for my ID. I'm 27. People ask me for ID, and I know I look young, dude. I know I got baby face.
Yeah.
So if I don't have it on me, I just be like, I'll go home.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes they're like, sometimes that works for me, right?
Yeah.
Because I am 27, and they'll be like, it's all right, bro. You get the thing. I know.
Yeah.
I know you're 27.
Yeah.
Or I've seen you here before.
Yeah.
But if I sit there and go, bro, I come here all the time. I never get my ID. Dude, they're gonna get mad and be like, no, we can't sell with you without your ID.
And that's the other thing too that you have to learn, right? You catch more bees with honey, right?
Exactly.
So it's like a lot of times when people are met with an answer that they don't like, they end up turning up, right? But then you create an enemy, right? So I learned this blatantly. I mean, I knew this from before, but I see it more and more with my son, right? Because like if there's one thing 4-year-olds cannot take, it's no. You know what I mean? But I just pop it to him, man, because he told me the other day, he's like, this is not fair. And I was like, Rev, I gotta tell you something very real. He's like, what? He's like, shit ain't always gonna be fair, man. You know what I mean? I was like, that is it. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, it's not always gonna be fair. Life is not fair. You know what I mean? And it was a tough realization for him, right? Because everything that they're being taught now is like, shared because it's fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or just any TV show or whatever the case may be. But he has to know that in the house, bro, although it's collaborative, it's a dictatorship. You know what I mean? I'm not really his friend until he's 18. You know what I mean? We are buddies. You know what I mean? And I can be his confidant and his champion, but we're not equals, right? And so that is the first realization, right? Then the second, because he needs to know that I have his best interest in mind. You know what I mean? And because of that, because he'll challenge me on things where I'm still don't tell him like, yo, it's just because I say so. I'll give him the reason and he may not fully grasp it. And so at some point in time, I just have to lay the law down. You know what I mean? But then also, he needs to know that like, yo, sometimes you're going to share with somebody and then they're not going to share back. Hey, that's how shit goes. You know what I mean? It's not always fair.
Dude, and I think that's the biggest problem with school now You know what I'm saying? Because I see like little things my nephews do, or little things kids do nowadays, or like just the way the world is with like the woke culture. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, yo, they think like people have to accept, just people in general, whether you're Christian, whether you're woke, whether you're liberal, Republican, people just feel like you have to accept their way because they were raised in a school system that teaches them that everyone's equal.
It's entitlement.
Entitlement.
It's
yes.
entitlement.
Dude,
You know what I
and
mean?
the whole world's entitled. And that's, especially in the United States, like everyone's so entitled
Yes.
that they feel like they can impose their ideas on you and you have to accept
Yes.
them. You know what I'm saying? And that's where bullying takes that shit away.
Yes.
Dude.
I should be respected for absolutely no reason.
Exactly.
Is the idea,
Yes.
right? And it's like, hey, man, you can have your opinion, but you have to be okay with somebody saying, hey, fuck your opinion.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
dude.
Because like I don't believe that because my life experience is not that. And that's honestly what I'm prepping my son for is like, hey man, you can have this belief, right? But somebody else is gonna have a different one. And that's okay. Right? So it's like if what you're looking for is fair, it's not gonna be there. Now, should you be respected? Yes. And that's where I never make him feel less than for his ideas. And I hear him out, right? But at the end of the day, I pull rank, bro. You know what I mean? Until he is able to live and die by his own decisions. Because right now, with freedom, with responsibility becomes freedom, right? So like until he's fully responsible for himself is when he'll get full freedom from me. But until now, when I am responsible for all facets of his life, then his freedom is limited to what I dictate to be okay. And that's fair. Nigga.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know what I mean? That's pretty much it, dude. Like, you know. But bullying fixes that entitlement.
Yes.
Bullying
for
takes
sure.
away that entitlement. Like, I used to think I was the shit when I was in elementary school. Because in elementary school, I was big. Right? And when I got to middle school and started getting bullied, is when, like, you know, it brought down my character, right? So when I was being bullied, my character went down. I was like, fuck, I'm a loser. And then eventually you get to a point where you're like, yo, like someone said something and you're like, yo, shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Man. And then everyone looks at you like, oh shit. You're like, yo, shut up, man. I don't care.
And how rewarding is that moment?
That moment is the most rewarding moment I had, dude. It was, and you know what another thing bullying does? All right, so when you're in middle school, as a man, you act on your emotions and you start fighting, right? Bam, punching people in their shit, right? Oh, he said this about my mom. Bam, right? As a grown man, you're gonna go to jail. In middle school, in school, you're just gonna get suspended, bro.
Right.
So you need to learn that lesson while you're in school before you become an adult and you end up eating a ham sandwich.
But
you know what I'm saying?
You can go to jail or you can just get knocked the fuck out or murdered.
Or you
because
can get
niggas
murdered.
don't play because if you are just so used to popping off at the mouth, especially in a stand your ground state, you can get shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Point blank. Like if you're so used to threatening people's lives and not really respecting people for what they are capable of, right? Then you can end up with more dire consequences. Case in point, Vaughn, bro. King Vaughn, right? Like just no respect.
He was never bullied.
Huh? Oh, I'm sure he was. He talks, I mean, he didn't talk about it, but there's people that have come out and said that they whooped his ass on a bus, right? It's just niggas like that don't talk about it, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so he's going through life though, but there was a point in time.
But he's still stuck in that. My bad, I cut you off.
Go ahead.
No, you know, things like Vaughn is like an example of what I see the world as being soft, right? Because being soft doesn't pertain to whether you could body a nigga or not. Being soft is just, as a man, you know, you need to think logically and not act on your emotions because that guy over there that doesn't know your mama said your mama's fat.
So that's what I'm saying. So sometimes the way of a true warrior is knowing when to surrender. And it's not being weak, but it's understanding what is worth the fight, right? And so the issue that like fatherless men end up having is that they only know the aggressive side, right? And they don't know what it looks like to be a man and be softer, and how being a controlled animal is more manly than anything, right?
Yeah.
Because they only have that childlike, aggressive portrayal of what a man is, right? And that's not the full scope of what a man is, bro. It's knowing when to back down. It's knowing when I could go full throttle on this, but is that really the right move? No. You know what I mean? And that's what happened. Vaughn was in that bullying mode, right? Over some shit that really didn't even involve him, right? And ended up getting bodied himself, right? So it's just
over bullshit.
Over bullshit, man.
Over bullshit. Over a he said, she said kind of
it's
bullshit.
All, I mean, it's all bullshit, bro. Nothing really, bro. Like, besides your family being murdered, and I get it, in that feud, blood was shed, right? But like, what is worth not being able to take another breath?
Yeah, but fucking Quando Rondo didn't body his family, man.
But that's what I'm saying. What is worth never, because now what can Vaughn's kids do? What can Vaughn's family do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? All that money he was making them
He
gone
can do
now. You know what I'm saying?
nothing.
Because it runs out. Money runs out.
He can do nothing, bro.
Exactly.
And with that,
this is VCM, and we out.
VCM,
baby.